Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So you guys said that you really enjoyed the last week of pantry meals that I showed you. I figured I would do another week of pantry meals, so I hope you enjoy. So tonight we are having spaghetti. I had a little bit of ground beef that had a little bit of taco seasoning and some onion, and I'm adding that to the raw beef because I don't want to waste anything, and that little bit of taco seasoned meat is really not going to change the flavor of the spaghetti. So now the beef is browned. I'm adding a quart of my stewed tomatoes. That video will be linked in the description below. I also have some tomato paste here. Typically, I would add my own canned pasta sauce, but we have used that all, so I am improvising, and tomato paste is a great way to improvise. So you put your tomato paste in, add some water, give that a stir, just to make sure like you have, you want the right consistency. Now I'm going to add some spices. I'm going to add some garlic powder, some onion powder, some Italian seasoning. I'm going to stir that, and then I'm going to cover that and let it simmer. Now on to the Texas toast garlic bread. I have some butter, some garlic, my canned garlic to be exact, some onion powder, and some parsley. And I'm just slathering this on some bread that I baked earlier, and I cut it pretty thickly. Oh, I also put Parmesan cheese, just a little bit of Parmesan cheese into that mixture as well. And I am just coating that bread with all of the mixture. It smells so good. I really want to lick the little bowl, but I'm not going to. Let's give a quick check on the spaghetti sauce. It has really come together and thickened nicely. I've tasted it. It's amazing. All right, so I've added some shredded cheese to these. Here's my plate. Yes. Tonight for dinner, we are having chicken and yellow rice. My chicken is not thawed, so I'm going to stick that in the Instant Pot. I'm going to add 1 quart of my chicken stock, and I'm going to pressure cook this for 45 minutes. So the chicken is cooked, I've removed it, and I've put the broth into my rice cooker. I'm going to add 2 cups of rice because there's 4 cups of broth. And I'm just going to hit the quick rice setting on this. Make sure to give it a stir before it starts cooking. And this will be done in, oh geez, I don't know, probably about 6 minutes. This rice cooker really takes no time at all. So here's my plate. I've shredded the chicken, added it back into the rice. In the last 10 minutes of cooking, I add about a cup or two of green peas. This meal is so easy and so delicious. Today we're gonna have breakfast for dinner. I'm gonna make sausage gravy and biscuits. These copycat KFC biscuits are amazing. Trust me. I'm gonna be making a double batch of these so I can freeze some for the next time we need biscuits. So go ahead and screenshot that recipe. You don't want to miss it, I promise you. And they freeze beautifully. I do find that it is best to sift all of your ingredients. It makes a fluffier biscuit. Now that the flour and everything is sifted, I need to cut in some cold butter. You want to make sure that the butter is very cold, fresh out of the fridge, or even stick it in the freezer for about 15 minutes. And then I just cut it down the length of the stick, and then I turn it, cut it down the length again, and then I cut it the width of the stick of butter and make little tiny cubes and add those little cubes to the flour. So now I need to cut this butter in, and I'm using a pastry cutter to do that. And you just want to work that butter in until it looks like that. Now we need to add buttermilk. I don't keep buttermilk on hand, but I always have lemon juice. So you add just some lemon juice to your milk, and that is a little hack, if you didn't know, on how to make buttermilk. So then you want to incorporate the milk with all the rest of the ingredients. You don't want to overmix it. This step is very important. That's why I'm using the Danish dough whisk. You just want to mix it together until it just starts to come together. Now I'm going to dump the dough mixture onto my silicone sheet, and it's going to be kind of wet and sticky at first. Do not add more flour. And I'm just kind of like gathering it all up. Like I said, it is very sticky at first, but you just don't want to add any extra flour. And I'm just kind of working it together. It will eventually become not sticky. As you can see, I have monster hands. I should have probably sprayed my hands a little bit with nonstick spray, but oh, that's what soap and water is for. So I'm just continuing to gather all of it up together, and I'm going to kind of fold the dough over on itself a couple times, alternating sides. And what that's going to do is create some really nice flaky layers. And then I've got it like in kind of a small rectangle shape, and I'm going to grab my rolling pin. So I'm going to coat my rolling pin in flour just so it doesn't get dough all over it. And you want to roll this out to about a 1/2 inch thick. There, that looks good to me. I'm gonna use these cookie cutters that Tara sent me. Thanks again, Tara. I love them. Use them all the time. They come in various shapes, and they're so easy to clean, and they cut beautifully. And so I'm just pressing and making my little biscuits. It's important when you're making biscuits to just push down. You don't want to twist because that will make the biscuit kind of pinched off, and you want to be able to have nice flaky layers. Here they are on the sheet. These are going to bake at 425 for about 8 to 10 minutes. These ones are going to go into my freezer to flash freeze. Here they are out of the oven, and don't forget to top them with butter. I promise you guys, you will love this recipe. It is honestly one of the best biscuits I've ever had. Even better than the old-time recipe that I've been using for years. They're so good. We are also going to have bacon. This is local bacon. I highly encourage you guys, if you can afford it, to support your local farmers. Also going to have some dehydrated hash browns. I'll link that video in the description. So these need to rehydrate a bit before I cook them. So I'm just getting them into a bowl. And then I'm going to cover them with some boiling water. Now that they're covered in boiling water, I'm gonna set these aside. All right, now I'm gonna be making the gravy. I'm using the country gravy mix and some of my canned hot Italian sausage. So I've got 4 tablespoons of butter. That pan that has the bacon grease, I'm cooking the hash browns in. So I'm gonna melt down this butter. And I'm gonna add 6 tablespoons of the country gravy mix. I'm making a double batch. Again, I will leave the link to this video in the description. So after the mix is put in the pan with the butter, I'm just gonna whisk it together to get it all incorporated. And you want to let it cook for a moment. And then I'm going to add my milk. And give it a good whisk so it's not lumpy. Nobody likes lumpy gravy. At least we don't anyways. And then you're just gonna cook this for a couple minutes. It really thickens quite quickly. I think it only took maybe 3 minutes for all of this to thicken and come together. Now it is thick and luscious, just like me. And I'm turning the heat off, and I'm gonna set this aside. I took those 2 pints of the hot Italian sausage. I just put a little bit of butter in a cast iron skillet. Obviously, I drained all of the water off. And I literally just sauteed it until it was nice and hot. As you can see, it holds up beautifully. I think it really depends on how big of chunks you begin to can your cooked beef or sausage in. And this is a little thick, so I'm just adding some milk and stirring it. You know, you do you. Now, I do like a thick gravy, but I don't like it so thick that my spoon will stand up in it. So I'm continuing to add milk to thin it out. You can also use water because the mix does have powdered milk in it. Oh, it's gonna be, breakfast is one of my favorite things to have for dinner. Do you guys like breakfast for dinner? Drop me a comment and let me know. So I have some water glassed eggs that need to get used up. I'm gonna get those washed off in cool water and I'll be right back. All right, I've got the eggs all washed off, the ones I'm gonna use, but I did want to show you something. So I came across some that had a few hairline cracks. Can you see the cracks in there? These you do not want to use because it's possible that the lime mixture has soaked into the egg and they're not good. So these will get scrambled and go back to the chickens. That is perfectly safe. Also, it does not affect the safety of the other eggs as long as the mixture, your lime mixture is nice and clear. You're good to go. So it's important for me, just a practice I've always done, is to break the eggs, especially water glassed eggs, into a separate bowl and give them a smell. Trust me, you will know if your egg is bad. And it is absolutely horrifying when you come across one that did not fare well during the glassing process. I've been water glassing eggs for I can't even tell you how long. It is something that my grandparents did and my great-grandparents did. So I just learned from them and I've been doing it for a very, very long time. These eggs are 2 years old and they are still smell as fresh as the day they were laid. Now I will tell you the egg white does not stay thick. It gets a little bit runny, but they are great for scrambling and baking. Now it's time to drain these hash browns that have been soaking for about 2 hours. And as you can see, they rehydrate absolutely beautifully. But you do want to drain them for about 15 or 20 minutes. So I've got the bacon grease cast iron skillet nice and warm. I'm going to dump these dehydrated hash browns in, spread them out. And I'm gonna season these with salt and pepper. My flame is on medium. And I'm gonna let these cook for about, 5 to 6 minutes on this side. So here is the finished plate. We've got the sausage gravy, the biscuits are underneath, eggs, hash browns, bacon. So I hope you all have enjoyed another week of meals from our pantry, things that we have on hand, nothing store-bought at all. Please drop me a comment below if you want to continue seeing a week's worth of pantry meals in one video. I'm trying to keep them 20 minutes or under. As always, thanks for being here. Thanks for being you. And until next time, friends, abundance and blessings to you. Bye-bye.